This morning, the Disney Parks blog released some concept art that was actually shared live at the park on Big Thunder Trail. If you were to go down there today, you could see this concept art, and it's an update to the previous one that basically gave you, compared to this, gave you no information at all. But this concept art is quite informative. But more than that, it actually makes me ask more questions than it answers. So here you go. Here are 8 questions that we have for the new Star Wars Land concept art. Now, number 1 is what we're looking at here is only, it's kind of a narrow focus. It's showing you only Star Wars Land proper. So one of the things I want to ask myself is, how are we getting in? The only thing that we can see that is not Star Wars Land in this concept art is the Rivers of America. And we can kind of see the trees that border Frontierland, and that's about it. We don't see where Toontown is. We don't know where Fantasyland is or Frontierland. So my question is, where are the entrances? We know, for example, that one of them is supposed to run along the length of the Hungry Bear down in the Rivers of America. But I'm not sure if it's in frame or not in this concept art. Matter of fact, I want to know, where is Hungry Bear? I asked that question because if you go to the Hungry Bear now, you'll know that the Hungry Bear is about at the end of Tom Sawyer's Island. So if you were to, go directly to the left from the end of this Tom Sawyer's Island that's in this concept art, you're hitting what looks to be Star Wars Land. So where is the Hungry Bear in this picture? Is it in this picture? And if so, is the entrance? Where is it? I don't know what it is. Is it that area behind these trees over here, inland to the left a little bit? I'm not sure. There's also an entrance supposed to be the tunnel, the old train tunnel from the mine train ride in Frontierland on the right side of the frame here in the concept art. But again, I don't know where that's hitting. If I recall, that the tunnel for that train is not at the end of the river. It's more down in the middle of Tom Sawyer's Island. So if you go to the middle of the island in this picture and then go to the right, then that's where the train tunnel is. And again, that doesn't jive with this photo very much unless you're walking through all that tree and rock. So those are questions that I have. And then, of course, where's Fantasyland entrance? I have no idea. But they're not really giving us a clear idea where the entrances are for Frontierland and for Critter Country. Second question, where are the attractions? This is an interesting question because I see 3 areas in this concept art. We're going to call this barren looking area over here on the left of the concept art area 1. The Millennium Falcon is area 2, and whatever this is over here, area 3. According to the Mice Chat, I don't want to call it concept art. It was like a map of where the things were supposed to be. The Millennium Falcon attraction is right where the Millennium Falcon is, and that huge escape from, whatever, Jakku or Dark Ride was going to be where this giant barren-looking area is. My guess is that all that rock work we're seeing here with you notice that there's not a whole lot of theming going on there. It's just a mountain, basically. It looks like a mountain to me, or the side of a cliff face maybe. That whole area, my guess, is show building. Which instead of just being a big green box like we see for Indiana Jones or for Pirates, they've now covered it with, which is really awesome. I love that they do that. That's one of the things that I don't like about Pirates and Indiana Jones and Haunted Mansion is that you can see, the show buildings, on the monorail, for example. But you're not going to have that. The illusion is complete here, in my opinion, which is pretty great. Which begs the question, what's going on in Area 3 over here? The area that looks to be bordering what is probably Toontown. What's happened? There's no attraction here. Is that not an attraction? What is going in there? Because we know there's only 2 attractions, and the area that is behind these, where you see just trees and vague rock formations, that's the expansion, the further expansion in the future. So I'm not sure what we're looking at here in the right third of the frame. Number 3. This is a question that I'm not sure if this is a trick being played on us, by the artist, or if it's intentional. But if you start with the Millennium Falcon in the center of the frame there, that looks like it's raised, like it's above everything else. Certainly what's to the left of it, right? And and to the right of it, this circular area down here in the right third definitely looks like it's lower than the Millennium Falcon. The same can be said for, you know, the little shops or whatever that's below it to the left in area number 3. Is that a raised area? I want to say that it's possible that that's a trick that the artist is playing on. It's not intentional, or maybe he has to, in order to define the area, he has to raise it sort of, in order so we can see it. If you draw everything to scale, then there would be parts of the land that would be obscured by the other buildings. So you have to kind of elevate it a little bit so that we can see what he's trying to show us. But there's a chance also that it's intentional, in which that would be kind of interesting, don't you think? If we had multiple, you know, levels of terrain that we could go up and down in. That's kind of new. I can't think of a single land that anywhere that has that kind of terrain. I think I'd be into that. Okay, question number 4. Speaking of the dimensions of the land and its scale, we could easily tell that, or we knew going in, just how big Star Wars Land was going to be. But what we can't see in this concept art is its true size. So I want to reference you guys back to the Mice Chat. Again, we kind of referred to this earlier. The Mice Chat plotting of where everything was going to be, the little map they made, which is pretty ingenious. That lets you see where everything else is: Critter Country, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Toontown, that kind of thing, in relation to Star Wars Land. Now let's take a minute. I'm gonna try to draw a line from one end of Star Wars Land, the far left end, all the way to the park expansion on the right. Draw that line, and then take that line and compare it to, just take it in any direction you want from any other land: Critter Country, New Orleans Square, Frontierland, Tomorrowland. Start in any one of those lands and just see how much space you could. For example, if you were to start at Tomorrowland and take that same length, it would reach just about to the Rivers of America. Can you imagine a land big enough to start at Tomorrowland and end in Frontierland? I mean, the end of Frontierland, or from Critter Country to Fantasyland. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And now, you know what? While I'm on this topic, try to remember, folks, that we are not being charged anything extra for this. There's no third ticket. I mean, they charged us, right? I mean, I'm paying more for my pass this year than I ever have. But the point is that it's not a third ticket. We don't have to buy a third, you know, like we have to do for DCA. We don't have to buy another pass or another ticket to get into that park. This is for you guys to just get into. That's pretty great, right? A park that's twice the size of any land, or a land that's twice the size of any other one. It's almost a whole new park. I think it's amazing. So that is just how big we're talking when it comes to Star Wars Land. And it's going to have no equal. Certainly not anything that you might find at a park called Universal. Okay, I said that out loud. With question number 5, I want to get into a little more detail. And part of this concept art, again, the only part that they included that wasn't Star Wars Land proper was the Rivers of America. And you can see that they've included the trestle for the train right here in the middle of your picture. That the train is going to cross over that water, and it's going to have some gorgeous scenery to the left. I can only imagine, right? How could you mess that up? That's just, I can see a couple little waterfalls in there. Man, I can't wait to ride this train. Anyway, I digress. The train is going to enter that rockwork. You see that long stretch of rockwork there. The train is going to go through that, it looks like, because it's going to have like a curving nature. I'm curious. That is a very, very long tunnel. And I can't imagine that they would have you go through such a tunnel. That has got to be twice the size, at least, of the diorama. I'm guessing the dinosaur diorama in Tomorrowland, or I guess it's Fantasy. I don't know what land is the diorama in. I have no idea. Anyway, that's a long ass tunnel. What are they going? That means they're going to have to entertain us while we're in that tunnel. They're going to have to entertain us. They're not just going to have us go through that length of tunnel just in the dark, listening to a train conductor talk to us about, you know, Frontierland or whatever, and Mark Twain. So they're going to show us something. What do you guys imagine are they going to show us in that tunnel? Rainbow caverns, maybe? I'd like to go through some rainbow caverns. Maybe some, maybe some more scenes like we see in the diorama, some Frontierland scenes. Not desert scenes, but, you know, like Old West. Well, I guess that is a desert, but I don't know. I would like to see some Frontierland stuff. That's all I'm saying. But I guess I'm saying more than that. I'm saying they have to show us something in there. So look forward to that. All right, question number 6. I said before that I believe that this rockwork here area is show building, but what is that beneath it? And again, it looks quite a bit lower, right? Is that the queue, I wonder? That's got to be the queue for the escape from Jakku or whatever. I keep saying that. I don't know where that ride takes place. So I'm imagining that's kind of an interesting layout for a queue. And does it extend? Does it keep extending down to the left, like I was talking about before, or is that Hungry Bear? I don't think that's Hungry Bear. But again, the dimensions suggest the way that this thing is laid out, the scale suggests it has to be, because the Hungry Bear reaches all the way to the end of Tom Sawyer's Island. So what is this? What is that? What is that? That's got to be Q. Unless, maybe that's behind. That's behind the Hungry Bear. And then what are these rocks right here that are to the right of the train as you run parallel to the Disneyland Railroad? That rock work looks intentional, doesn't it? It looks like they made it come out in that way on purpose. And if so, what is its purpose? Okay. All right, next let's take a look at what I call area number 3. It's this area that's closest to Toontown and Frontierland, the area that does not appear to have any attraction. So I'm left to wonder, what is it that's going to be occupying? There's a lot of real estate there, right? There looks like a lot of buildings and stuff. What are they doing here? Is one of these buildings going to be like the Carthay Circle Lounge or whatever they call it, the Carthay Theater? Or like a Club 33 type situation? Is one of these buildings, are they shops? Because I think in the concept art we saw on the ground, there were a lot of areas that looked like they were outdoor shops but covered with a tarpaulin, which these colored areas that you can see in Area 3 and in the middle here, in the middle section beneath the Millennium Falcon, those look like those colored tarps that are covering the outdoor shops. What is this circular area though out here? That looks like an area where you might have a stage, perhaps, maybe not a stage, but like an outdoor performance, which I have to believe they're going to have something, right? Every park has an area where you can, there's what they call streetmosphere, where they have live shows out on the street. So what do you imagine would be happening there? Is it maybe a dance performance or a band like the Cantina Band? Would they play here or something like that? The band that was at I forget the name, where Maz, whatever her name is on Force Awakens, the little lady with the bad eyesight. Maybe their band is going to play there. But that's what I'm seeing here. I'm visualizing an area for live performances there, and then mostly shops behind that. Question number 8. Is that Mike Finks Keelboat there at the tip of Tom Sawyer's Island? Because that looks like a keelboat to me. Now, it is my belief that nothing is put into concept art by accident. They're putting it in there. Maybe it's just to give you flavor or a taste of what you might see, but something like that, something like a keelboat, I almost have to ask myself, is that like an Easter egg? Are they putting that in there to tease us, to tempt us, to make us wonder, why is there a keelboat? All right? Because I should say, there has always been a keelboat on the river. It's just always been parked. So maybe that's what they're showing us, is that keelboat isn't going to be a live keelboat. Maybe it's just the same parked keelboat, and that's going to stay there. That keelboat is there because Mike Finks' house, as you turn around the rivers of America, that's what that's telling us, perhaps, is that Mike Finks' house is still going to be there, which was, we call it Settler's Cabin and a lot of times when we reference it. But today, or in the most recent history, it was Mike Finks' house. So maybe that's just a suggestion there. But it's at least one to wonder, maybe they might bring back the keelboat. I don't think so. It doesn't do a lot of, it doesn't, what do you call it? It doesn't carry a lot of passengers. It doesn't occupy a lot of passengers. So I wouldn't expect that to be a functioning attraction. And that's it, you guys. Those are our 8 questions with some answers about this new concept art. What do you guys think? I'm totally throwing spitballs here, so I'd like to hear what you guys think. Does any of that make sense? What is it that you're looking forward to? What makes you most curious? That's what I want to know. I am the most curious, personally, about the size of that show building over there in Area 1 and what's going to happen in that train tunnel through the Frontierland Rock. Those are the things I'm curious about. What about you guys? So let us know, you guys, in the comments below, and until next time, fresh baked! We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out our Star Wars Land updates from the Knothole Gang, or maybe our Secrets in History videos. Or you can just watch all of our weekly trip reports and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. And don't forget, you can support Fresh Baked by joining our Patreon campaign or by buying a Fresh Baked t-shirt. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Fresh Baked!